Hi, this is a summary of an extremely amazing book, Reinventing Yourself, How to Become a Person You Always Wanted to Be by Steve Chandler. This is one of the best reads I had this year. I finished it almost in one go. I highly recommend you reading the whole thing. There are a dozen amazing quotes from this book alone. But in case you want a teaser, here's my take on the summary of that book. The most powerful insight I got from the book is that actually you don't have to have a personality. Thinking that you have a personality or one personality is limiting yourself, limiting your range of action, and therefore limiting amount of success and the range of achievements you can have in your life. Your personality is actually malleable according to what you want to achieve, according to the results you want to see in your life. Another great insight is that happiness actually comes from growth and effort. Think about it. Hardly ever you hear the people bragging how nicely they were laying on the sofa watching Netflix. Usually people experience the most amount of happiness after they have put a significant effort into something. Completing a difficult project, progressing in their career, raising kids, finding a way to communicate with your partner. Those are the things that bring you growth and then bring you the most amount of happiness. And with these two insights in mind, that you don't have to have a personality, or that your personality is malleable according to your needs and goals, and that the most happiness actually comes from effort, let's dive into categories and fields where you can reinvent yourself. I generally would divide the lessons I got from the book into 3 sections. It's about general attitude, relationships, and taking action. Let's start with general attitude. According to Steve, there are 2 ways of living life, like a victim or like an owner. And the difference is life-changing. The victims blame other people, circumstances, surroundings for what's happening in their life. While owners take responsibility, that extreme ownership of their life. Owners also honor commitments. It is a life-changing idea to pick your commitments like career, partner, and honor them. Another great insight from the book is how we see problems. Problems are actually adventures in disguise, but we don't see them that way because we put fear into them, we personalize them. Think about how you playing a game. Computer games, everybody loves playing them, but actually computer games is just a bunch of problems to solve. But we don't stress that much about them because we don't personalize them, because we don't see it as our problem or problem with us. But in life, it is a little bit different. I think it's a really great insight to treat problems as adventures. There is one of my favorite quotes that worry is a misuse of imagination. So reframing how we see problems makes a huge difference. Seeing problems as adventures in disguise will allow us to proceed to finding a solution more efficiently and also save some nerves on the way. Now let's proceed to the delicate topic of relationships. When it comes to relationships, there are also 2 ways of having those. You're either a giver or a taker. And givers are actually more confident, more satisfied, and more content. So the choice should be obvious. You want to be a giver. But it's not that easy. Human nature is often based on ego. So it's quite often that our own ideas and preference of how the other person should be gets in the way of being a giver to them, of finding love inside us and giving that to the other person. And talking about finding love inside, there is another great concept described in the book about having internal ladder of emotional consciousness and physical states, that in each moment in life we're standing on a certain position on that ladder. You can be either in a position of fear, anger, neutrality, inspiration, love. And normally we allow external circumstances to put us on a certain step of the ladder. Like the partner was nice to us, the boss praised us, then we're in the inspirational step. Then the partner said something that we didn't like that much, then we're in a despair step if it was really bad. But the truth is, if mastered properly, we can manually put ourselves on one of those internal steps. We can decide inside where do we want to stand. And this is a difficult, challenging task to develop that skill, but it's absolutely worth it It's like playing piano. You have to start with small things before you play Beethoven. But I think this, if mastered, would be a life-changing experience. If you can manually put yourself on the step of love, on the track of love, and feel the love and give it to your closed ones, imagine how much more fulfilling that life would be. And the same concept you can also find in the Dr. Hawkins book about letting go, or in the talks of Michael Singer, but this is maybe a topic for another video altogether. I think humanity could majorly benefit from learning to move on that ladder manually by our own will. I could majorly benefit from that. And I will keep trying. The last point about relationship that I learned from the book is that you can raise above your emotional pain as you do with physical. Think you're entering a very important meeting with a very respectful, very promising client that you really want to make a good impression on. And you're about to shake his hand and you accidentally hit your knee on the sharp corner. Are you going to suddenly start screaming at the client that you're in pain and you just can't handle it? No, you will like, okay, my knee hurts, but this is more important. So I will leave the pain in the background. I'll still be a nice person. And I'll still follow the bigger goal. I'll stick with the bigger picture. I'm at the meeting and this is important. It's a little bit more difficult for us with emotional pain, but we can actually do it. So when you're feeling anger, despair, frustration, injustice, you can still try your best and you can do it to detach yourself from those emotions. Think of a bigger picture, think of a bigger goal, and act according to that. Now the third batch of insights is about taking action. According to Steve Chandler, actually, we should be living a life of action. Like wild things. They don't think that much of their past mistakes or future worries. They just live a life of action. And if you don't feel like doing something, like running or doing your taxes, what you should do is actually start doing it. Yeah, I know. It's kind of David Goggins' advice. But if you don't feel like running, run. The moment you start running, you will feel like running. The appetite comes while you start eating. Do it badly. Do it slowly. Do it fearfully. Do it however you can. But do it. I know myself that even I resent something, like making a video. The moment I start doing it, I feel so much better. I feel in a flow. I feel like, my life is worth living. And my mind is more sharp. It's at peace. Action is an amazing thing. Another point about taking action is that practice makes magic. Nothing can be done about it. If you want to be good at something, practice, 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 practice. And you're going to be good. And I would like to finish this summary with those 2 quotes from the book. You can reinvent yourself. You did it constantly when you were little, and you can do it now. People change, people become happy. Happiness is a thing to be mastered. If no one else, I believe in you. You can become the person you always wanted to be. Thank you for watching.